At the start of the story, a U.S. fighter jet is flying over Afghanistan when enemy forces suddenly launch a missile at it. Terry, the pilot, immediately activates the jet's defense system. Despite this, the missile still strikes the aircraft. The jet loses control completely, leaving only one option for survival. Without hesitation, they eject from the fighter jet. A few minutes later, Kate and Terry regain consciousness in the middle of the Afghan desert. Before Terry can help the injured Kate, Afghan fighters surround them. They open heavy fire on Terry, leaving him severely wounded. As one enemy fighter moves closer to Terry, Kate suddenly attacks and kills him on the spot with her gun. She then fires at the remaining enemies, disarming them with sheer courage. However, the danger is far from over. Another Afghan fighter suddenly appears, and when Kate tries to shoot him, she realizes her gun is out of bullets. With no other choice, she runs for her life. Just as the enemy is about to kill her, Terry gathers his remaining strength and shoots the Afghan fighter. After this final act of bravery, Terry is on the verge of death. Kate is shattered by the loss. She kneels beside her comrade, and Terry apologizes for not being able to get them out of this situation. Hearing his words, tears fill Kate's eyes. Now her only objective is to contact the rescue team. Meanwhile, the remaining Afghan fighters realize their leader is still alive and that the American forces have escaped. After walking for some time, Kate spots a convoy of enemy vehicles surrounding the area. She quickly understands that staying exposed is dangerous and runs toward a nearby bunker for cover. Before she can reach it, the enemy spot her and unleash heavy fire. Their leader fires a missile at Kate, but she narrowly manages to dodge it. As the smoke clears, she sees that the explosion has blown the bunker door open. Without wasting a moment, Kate rushes inside. An enemy approaches the entrance behind her, and she shoots him dead with her pistol. Inside, Kate finds herself standing before a staircase that seems to descend hundreds of meters underground. With no other option, she begins to climb down. She has no idea what kind of place this is, but she moves forward carefully. Soon, she hears enemies approaching from behind and continues deeper in search of an escape. As she enters another section of the bunker, a foul smell fills the air. Moments later, she is horrified by the disturbing sight before her. A corpse lies there in a badly decayed condition. Not only that, Kate also discovers a mysterious device. Along with it are numerous papers and records revealing the horrific experiments that were being carried out in this hidden place. Suddenly, she hears the enemy approaching. So Kate quickly throws away her light stick and hides behind a large pillar. At that moment, one of the Afghan fighters turns on the generator, flooding the area with light and revealing a terrifying secret. In front of them are hundreds of capsules, each containing a human corpse. As soon as the enemies are distracted, Kate seizes the chance and uses her combat skills to snatch a gun from one of them. The Afghan fighters immediately notice her and start firing in her direction. During the chaos, one capsule shatters and the corpse inside crashes to the ground. To save herself, Kate climbs down through a nearby hatch. When their leader sees her enter the tunnel, he orders his men to chase her and block all possible exits. He also commands one fighter to stay behind, ensuring that Kate cannot escape if she returns. The guard slowly moves toward the body that fell from the broken capsule. At the same time, Kate crawls silently through the narrow tunnels when an enemy approaches the hatch to inspect it. Kate freezes completely, barely breathing. Meanwhile, the guard decides to cover the fallen bodies with a curtain. He has no idea that one of the Crutchers is still alive. Before he can react, the creature suddenly attacks him. At that moment, Kate reaches the emergency exit stairs. Just then, Malik, the Afghan leader, appears in front of her. Another fighter notices his comrade's body being ripped apart and eaten by the horrifying creature. Terrified, he starts shouting for help from his commander. Taking advantage of the chaos, Kate fires her flare gun straight into the man's chest. She quickly grabs a fallen enemy rifle and takes them down one by one. Without hesitation, Kate throws a grenade and begins climbing the stairs. As she reaches the top, an Afghan fighter suddenly grabs her leg and drags her down. Before Kate can recover, the man's face is torn apart with a brutal crunch. The creature leaps toward Kate and tries to devour her as well. Panicking, Kate manages to break free and runs outside. Crutcher attempts to chase her, but she somehow escapes. To trap the creature inside, Kate chains the bunker door shut. Just as she's about to leave, another enemy appears. When the man sees Crutcher trying to break free, he runs away in terror. Kate then escapes the area, barely saving her life. After walking a short distance, she collapses to the ground from her severe injuries. She uses medication to suppress the pain and forces herself to keep moving. A short while later, a military vehicle suddenly crashes into her. The soldiers quickly realize she is one of their own and rush to help her. The next day, Kate is taken to the army camp. There, she meets Major Roy and tries to convince him that something is seriously wrong in the bunker. However, Roy refuses to believe her. He explains that the situation has worsened since the battle and insists they must focus only on the main mission. Angrily, Kate describes the terrifying creature she encountered while escaping the bunker. She explains every detail, but Roy remains completely unmoved. He takes the device Kate recovered from the lab and sends it to the camp doctor for inspection. At the same time, a group of soldiers arrives with a captured prisoner. Roy demands that they extract every possible detail from him. Seeing Kate's anger, Sergeant Tom steps in to calm her down, disturbed by Roy's cold attitude. Later, while Kate is being treated by a paramedic, Sergeant Tom returns with Sergeant Jones. They assure her that they believe her story completely. However, before heading back to the bunker, they need to understand exactly what happened. In response, Kate writes down a Russian sentence that was engraved on the bunker doors. Her memory is sharp, so she recalls it perfectly. Still, she has no idea what the message means. Suddenly, the Afghan prisoner interrupts and explains that it is a warning. According to him, it clearly states that opening the bunker is forbidden. He adds that the truth hidden inside is far more horrifying than anything Kate has described. Tom is confused by this claim. He points out that if the message is written in Russian, the bunker must have been sealed nearly 30 years ago. He explains that no Russians have been in the area for decades. The doctor interrupts, stating that no human could survive being locked away for so many years. Hearing this, the prisoner makes another chilling statement. He reveals that the creature living inside the bunker is not human at all. This revelation deeply unsettles everyone present. As night approaches and darkness spreads, the soldiers decide to guard the entire area in rotating shifts. They know new threats could appear at any moment. Meanwhile, inside his cabin, Roy contacts the colonel. The colonel orders Kate to immediately send the device she recovered. Roy reveals that the device is actually a recorder. He firmly states that if they want it, they must first reveal the full truth about what is really happening. Deep inside the bunker, the terrifying creatures begin freeing one another. Slowly, they gather together and start breaking the chains blocking their escape. Later that night, a soldier named Shrano arrives to replace Dwayne on duty. As he steps forward, he hears a strange noise behind him. When he turns around, he realizes his companion has vanished. Confused and alarmed, Shrano moves toward the barricade to investigate. At the same time, Dave senses a foul stench spreading through the camp and grows suspicious. He goes to check the area, and soon spots a terrifying creature charging straight toward the base. Dave screams at the top of his lungs to warn everyone. Hearing the alarm, the entire unit grabs their weapons and prepares for battle. Within moments, the soldiers take their positions at the barricade and begin firing at anything that moves. At last, Roy realizes that Kate has been telling the truth all along. He orders Sergeant Tom to lead the squad and use every weapon available. The soldiers then charge forward, determined to eliminate the creatures once and for all. Suddenly, a creature attacks Dwayne from behind and severs his head with a single strike. A horrifying sight leaves everyone frozen in shock. Terrified, Sienna fires at the creature and knocks it off the wall. A paramedic rushes to help Dwayne, but there is nothing he can do. At that moment, another terrifying creature leaps forward and tries to attack the soldiers. Tom reacts instantly and fires his weapon, sending the creature crashing into the major's hut. Without hesitation, Roy charges forward and opens relentless fire. The barrage of bullets tears apart a large portion of the creature's body. Outside the camp, the soldiers spread out in different directions to fight as many creatures as possible. As Tom lights a flare, he spots even more creatures approaching from a distance. Roy orders the entire unit to retreat immediately. Before they can pull back, 2 soldiers are captured by the creatures. Another soldier who tries to hide in the washroom is also taken. Inside the camp, Kate hears a crutcher approaching and rushes to open the weapon's chest. The chest refuses to open, and as she enters the cabin, the crutcher attacks her violently. The horrifying creature lashes out, trying to grab her with its long tongue. At that moment, the Afghan prisoner manages to free herself and opens the weapon's crate. She grabs a machete and strikes the creature with all her strength. The crutcher falls to the ground, and Kate continues attacking it furiously. Outside, the camp descends into total chaos. A soldier fires non-stop at the creatures with his machine gun, but a crutcher seizes the chance and kills him. The heavy weapon spins wildly, firing uncontrollably, and the bullets strike nearby fuel cans. In the next instant, a massive explosion tears through the camp. Amid the flames, the soldiers see a creature standing right in front of them. Working together, they finally manage to kill it. At that moment, the major realizes his gun is out of ammunition. Before he can react, a crutcher launches a fierce attack on him. The remaining soldiers, along with the gatekeeper and the Afghan prisoner, rush toward the barricade. Jones immediately restrains the prisoner. Sensing the sudden silence, Tom knows it is too dangerous to stay where they are. He orders Sienna to run to the weapons base. At the same time, he and the paramedic head out to find the major. When they reach the cabin, one of the soldiers throws a stun grenade at the creature. Roy seizes the moment and knocks it down with a powerful strike. Together, they rescue their commanding officer and escort him to the armory. Meanwhile, as Dave and the other soldiers attempt to open a container, they regroup with the rest of the unit. Suddenly, a crutcher attacks them without warning. Kate grabs an axe from the container and charges straight at the crutcher from behind. She strikes the creature hard, leaving it badly injured. Tom steps in and finishes it off completely. With the path finally clear, the entire group rushes inside the container. After sealing the door, they take a short rest and begin discussing their next move. When the soldiers reopen the container and look out at the camp, they are shocked by what they see. There are no creatures in sight and no bodies of the fallen soldiers. After searching the area, they finally find the corpse of a single creature. Everyone gathers around and begins examining it closely to uncover its secrets. During the examination, Dr. Wills discovers that the creature can retract its teeth. Its skin is extremely thick, and many of its body parts closely resemble those of a human. They also uncover the creature's greatest weakness. Sunlight has a deadly effect on it. Its DNA has been completely altered, making exposure to sunlight fatal. Meanwhile, the Major reveals important information he learned during his conversation with the Colonel. He apologizes to Kate for not believing her earlier. Roy then explains that a meteorite crashed to Earth many years ago. Russian scientists who were operating in the same region became curious and began investigating the site. During their research, they discovered a massive spaceship that had been completely destroyed. The discovery shocked them. They later attempted to create a super soldier using the creature's DNA found inside the wreckage. Hearing this, Kate becomes deeply worried. She explains that she saw an entire army being prepared inside capsules within an underground bunker. These creatures could awaken at any moment. Because of this, she insists they must leave immediately. However, they soon realize a serious problem. They have no fuel to escape the desert. Understanding the situation, everyone accepts that they must stay and face the creatures. Roy promises that he will fight alongside his comrades until his final breath. Suddenly, the crutcher lying on the table comes back to life. It attacks everyone around it and tries to swallow Kate's head with its long tongue. To defend herself, Kate slams her head into the creature. Roy realizes that his entire squad is in grave danger. Without hesitation, he pulls out a grenade and leaps straight toward the monster. In the next instant, a massive explosion tears the creature apart completely. Tom panics and rushes to help his friend, but Roy cannot be saved. After regaining his composure, Tom approaches the prisoner and decides to free him. He believes the man has been telling the truth and wants to work together. The entire unit then gathers and begins collecting weapons, equipment, and ammunition. Soon, they realize that if another attack happens, their supplies will not be enough. With no other choice, they decide to strike first before the creatures attack them again. They decide to attack the bunker first and eliminate every creature inside. The soldiers quickly prepare for what may be their final mission. Tom explains that their only objective is to plant a bomb outside the bunker and escape before it detonates. As they reach the bunker, only 4 people enter. They are Tom, James, Kate, and the prisoner Kabir. The remaining soldiers stay outside to provide support. Without wasting time, the team plants explosives at several points and begins to retreat. As they are leaving, Tom notices a medallion lying on the ground. He realizes it belongs to Kate. When Tom turns back and steps toward the stairs to pick it up, a crutcher suddenly grabs him and drags him down with great force. Moments later, Kate hears Tom's voice over the radio. She immediately understands that the creatures have captured him. Determined to save her friend, Kate decides to go back underground with the others to find Tom and bring him out alive. Vex remains inside the military vehicle to operate the elevator. Despite the dangerous conditions, everyone makes it down into the underground facility. Meanwhile, the medic receives an urgent radio alert, ordering the evacuation of the entire area within 20 minutes. A panicked Wills warns everyone that they must leave immediately. The squad splits up to search for Tom while Dave stays behind to guard the elevator. At the same time, Tom uses a knife hidden in his pocket to kill the creature holding him captive. After freeing himself, he sets out to find his teammates. When the others reach the laboratory inside the bunker, they are horrified by what they see. Bodies of victims killed by the creatures are scattered everywhere. As they move closer to the central capsule, an even more terrifying sight awaits them. Inside the capsule, a massive monster is being created. Elsewhere, Tom is suddenly attacked from behind by a crutcher. However, when he hears Kate's voice, he manages to escape and runs toward the lab. There, his comrades kill the creature using their weapons. At that moment, Velik spots several Afghan fighters surrounding the bunker. He quickly climbs onto the vehicle-mounted weapon and opens relentless fire to push them back. Near the elevator, Dave is surrounded by multiple creatures. While shooting at them, he activates the emergency alarm. By now, Kate realizes that the monsters have set a trap. She urgently tells everyone that they must escape immediately. The team retreats and seals the door behind them. However, Jones notices that the creatures can still open the door by turning the crank. He grabs the crank with all his strength and tells his teammates to get out. Jones stays behind alone to hold off the enemy. Outside, Vis suddenly runs out of ammunition. She rushes to reload her weapon, unaware that an Afghan fighter is directly below her. Meanwhile, Sienna emerges from the bunker and hears a terrifying roar behind her. She stops and holds her position so the rest of her teammates can safely reach the exit. Soon after, the entire squad reaches the elevator. When Tom realizes that Sienna is missing, he immediately decides to go back and save her. He orders the others to activate all the bombs and escape if he does not return within 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Sienna is suddenly attacked by a creature. She uses nearby objects to defend herself and fights back fiercely. In a surge of anger, she continues attacking and eventually kills the creature. Before she can recover, another creature attacks her from behind. It violently tears part of her face, delivering a fatal blow. Sienna dies instantly from her injuries. Witnessing this, Tom is overwhelmed with rage. He grabs a knife and uses a dustbin lid as a shield. With everything he has, he begins fighting the creature. At the same time, John, completely exhausted, steps away from the door. He pulls out his detonator and sacrifices himself to save his comrades. The massive explosion obliterates all the mutants around him. Hearing the blast, Tom realizes that staying any longer means certain death. He immediately turns and makes his escape. Outside, an Afghan fighter attacks the paramedic. The attacker tries to stab Wilkes with a knife, but Wilkes narrowly manages to escape. Fighting bravely against each enemy, he activates the control to pull the entire group upward. However, the explosion has damaged part of the mechanism. The vehicle begins to move forward uncontrollably. Panicked, Wilkes desperately tries to stop it. Meanwhile, inside the elevator, Kate, Kabir, and Dave are forced to fight dozens of creatures together. Suddenly, a crutcher slams Dave on the head with its forearm, knocking him to the ground. Realizing that Kabir is no longer restrained, the paramedic decides to jump to the other side of the vehicle. During the chaos, Kabir spots a military vehicle at the top of the stairs. Before he can escape, a crutcher grabs him. Knowing he has no way out, Kabir shouts for Kate to jump off the platform. Because of this, Kate's life was saved at the very last moment. Kabir and all the other creatures were completely wiped out in a massive explosion. A few seconds later, Kate finally met Tom. Meanwhile, some enemies were still preparing to launch a deadly attack on Vis. At the last moment, her team arrived and destroyed them all with their weapons. Shortly after that, the group saw a military plane firing a nuclear missile. They immediately boarded a vehicle and tried to escape the area. Soon, a powerful bomb landed, destroying everything across several kilometers of the desert. Only 3 people barely managed to survive the blast. They realized the attack was carried out to suppress the truth. Without looking back, they left the scene forever. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my second channel for Korean drama explanations. The link is in the description and also available on the end screen. See you in the next video.